بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين. Verse number 50. جنات عدن مفتحة لهم الأبواب متكئين فيها يدعون فيها بفاكهة كثيرة وشراب وعندهم قاصرات الطرف أتراب. The gardens of Eden, whose gates are flung open for them, reclining therein on couches. Therein they ask for abundant fruits and drinks, and with them will be maidens of restrained glances of a like age. Now, this is a set of things which are prepared for muttaqeen in paradise. And this is the husn ma'ab which is mentioned in the previous verse. هَذَا ذِكْرٌ وَإِنَّ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ لَحُسْنَ مَآبٍ. Indeed, the God-weary have a good destination. This good destination is described here with the type of bounties which are mentioned here in paradise. First of all, Jannati Adnin, the gardens of Eden. Eden or Adn has the meaning of everlasting. So these are gardens, not like the gardens of this world. These are everlasting gardens. They are going to be there forever. مُفَتَّحَةً لَهُمُ الْأَبْوَابِ, whose gates are flung open for them. Now, Abwab here may mean the gates of paradise. We know that paradise has 8 gates. And again, in the Quran it's mentioned that hell has 7 gates. And each gate is allocated to a certain group of people, of course. When we say gates, it doesn't mean that anyone can enter from any gate. Each group of people, due to their actions, due to what they have how they have performed in this world, they are allowed from one gate. And that one gate leads to one location of paradise or hell. So the gates actually open to different locations in the paradise and in the hell, and therefore they are allocated to different groupings of people. So here, مُفَتَّحَةً لَهُمُ الْأَبْوَابِ, the doors are flung open for them, means, if we take it to be the gates of the paradise, means that when they arrive there, they find the doors opened for them. However, this is somehow in opposition to the verses in Surah Zumar. حَتَّى إِذَا جَاءُوهَا وَفُتِحَتْ أَبْوَابُهَا وَقَالَ لَهُمْ خَزَنَتُهَا سَلَامٌ عَلَيْكُمْ. They have to come there until the doors are open. The verses in Surah Zumar actually refers to the fact that the Jannah would not materialize, or the hell would not materialize, unless we reach that very position in our evolution towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the doors would be open and should be open there and then when we arrive there. It's not open yet. This مُفَتَّحَةً لَهُمُ الْأَبْوَابِ, the gates are flung open for them, means that they are already open for them. Here you are, this is for you, come and go in. It seems to be in some opposition with that verse which says that no, the doors will be open for them only when they get there. Now, Abwab here might mean one other things. It might mean windows to everything or doors to everything. the doors to everything are open for them in paradise. مُفَتَّحَةً لَهُمُ الْأَبْوَابِ. You see, sometimes when we want to do something in this world, we see that all doors to do that thing are closed for us because it's out of our capacity, our capability, our means are not sufficient to do those things. So the doors to many things in this world are closed for us. Here the verse is alluding to the fact that it is completely different in paradise. You want to do anything, the doors are open for you. Every door for every action, for realizing every wish is open to you in paradise. And therefore, it means that the bounties, the ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in paradise are not restricted, are not limited. It is only limited by your own wish. Because when the Quran says, لَهُمْ مَا يَشَاءُونَ فِيهَا, whatever they wish, it would be there. It means there's no restriction in terms of things coming from the other side, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever you wish would come. And this, of course, might seem to be a bit in contradiction with the fact that we know there are different levels in paradise. There are different types of livings. Different people of different levels of spirituality live in different situations or in different pleasures in paradise. So if everyone can wish the same thing, then everyone should live in the same situation and with the same bounties. However, the problem would disappear when we think that the only restriction there is the restriction of your wish. You would not wish many things because you cannot imagine it. And therefore things are restricted for you. So long as you can imagine something good, it would come to you. Because if you imagine something good, then you want to have it. You wish to have it. And if you wish to have it, it would come to you. Therefore, there is no restriction from that side. The restriction is, however, from this side, the limitation of our imagination and the limitation of our wish. Of course, evil imagination cannot be allowed in paradise, because evil imagination would lead to evil wish, and evil wish cannot materialize in paradise, then you are not in paradise anymore. It is good imagination, benign imagination, that leads to benign and good wish, which would give you the bounties of paradise. Therefore, what we try to do here, or what we have to do here, and how we can upgrade ourselves to be in better places of paradise, is to upgrade our imagination of goodwill and of good doing. In a way, by practicing, by exercising what Allah tells us in terms of good wish, goodwill, things which are good in this world, we expand our capacity for good imagination. And the capacity for good imagination in the paradise would turn into capacity for better living, for higher places. Now you might think that, okay, what can we imagine in paradise more than what is mentioned here in the Quran, palaces, gardens, different types of things which are mentioned here, good clothes, bracelets of gold and silver, and all these things we can imagine. However, in paradise we have two different types of lives. As I think I have explained here before, we have a physical life, just like this world we have a physical life. We have a spiritual life. And the spiritual life is, of course, more important than physical life. Human soul cannot live without body. This is what is established. Soul is something that needs a body. Even when we leave this world, we do not leave this world without any body, absolutely. We would be in another body, which is an imaginal body, a body which has image, but which has no matter. And that is how we live in barzakh. The soul cannot live there without a body. And the body is there, but the body is different. And when the barzakh is finished, we come to the arena of the resurrection. Of course, the soul goes to a new body. And that is the physical body, which is created there by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for us, and of course is much more capable, much more rigorous than the body that we have in this world, because it has to endure the punishments of hell and to experience the pleasures of paradise, which of course our body here are not capable. Our bodies here are not capable to experience those pleasures in paradise. It would explode if we experience those things which are mentioned for paradise here. So the soul needs a body. If there is a body, there is a life, physical life. If there is a physical body, there is a physical life. And therefore, in paradise and in hell, we have a physical life. The physical life, of course, is explained in the Quran in terms of the type of pleasures that they have. Whatever they need is prepared for them. They wear very nice clothes of silk, wearing silvers and golds, and living in such and such places. This is the physical life. And it really does not change very much from person to person. Of course, there are some differences according to, again, the capacity of the wish of people. However, the wish here, the will of human beings here are almost identical. There's no much difference. In Surah Ar-Rahman, if you have noticed, two levels of paradise are mentioned. One is the level of Muqarrabun, and the other is level of Ashabul Yamin, ordinary people. These is also mentioned in Surah Al-Waqi'ah. Two levels of paradise are mentioned. And the ni'mas which are mentioned in terms of physical life in both places are almost identical. Of course, there is difference in expression in both places, but it's the same. Let's look at Surah Waqi'ah. Surah number 56, and see the difference between the two paradises mentioned here. Surah number 56, verses number 7 onwards, it says that وَكُنْتُمْ أَزْوَاجًا ثَلَاثًا. When you come to us on the Day of Judgment, you are of three types, three groups. فَأَصْحَابُ الْمَيْمَنَةِ, the people of the right hand, وَأَصْحَابُ الْمَشْأَمَةِ, the people of the left hand, وَالسَّابِقُونَ السَّابِقُونَ, and the foremost ones are the foremost ones there. أُولَٰئِكَ الْمُقَرَّبُونَ, these are ones brought near. Now, look how their place in paradise is described. Their Jannah is described. فِي جَنَّاتِ النَّعِيمِ, who will reside in the gardens of bliss. A multitude from the former generations and a few from the later generations on brocaded coaches. Now, these are the physical type of life. This is the physical type of life mentioned for them. On brocaded coaches, reclining on them face to face, they will be waited upon by immortal youths with goblets and ewers and a cup of clear wine, which neither causes them headache nor stupefaction, and such fruits as they prefer, and such flesh of fowls as they desire, and big-eyed houris like guarded pearls, a reward for what they used to do. They will not hear therein any vain talk or sinful speech, but only the watchword, peace, peace. Now, this is the physical life for Muqarrabun. The physical life for Ashabul Yamin. وَأَصْحَابُ الْيَمِينَ مَا أَصْحَابُ الْيَمِينَ, amidst thornless lote trees and clustered spaces and extended shade and ever-flowing water and abundant fruits, neither inaccessible nor forbidden, and noble spouses, we have created them with a special creation, these spouses, and made them virgins, loving of a like age, for the people of the right hand. Again, not very much different from what Ashabul Yamin, from what Muqarrabun had, except, of course, with this is less splendid in expression than what was mentioned for Muqarrabun. In Surah Ar-Rahman, the previous surah, one surah before this, surah number 55, it says that Verse number 46. وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ. For him who stands in awe of his Lord will be two gardens. So which of your Lord's bounties will you both deny? This is of course addressed to jinn and ins, for muqarrabun from jinn and muqarrabun from ins. One garden for muqarrabun from ins, one garden from muqarrabun from jinn. Therefore there are two gardens. And then the address is to both ins and jinn. Which of your Lord's bounties will you both deny? Now, the way these gardens are described, of course, I don't go to repeat فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ in translation. Both abounding in branches, in both of them will be two flowing springs. In both of them will be two kinds of every fruit. They will be reclining on beds lined with green silk, and the fruit of the two gardens will be near at hand. In them are maidens of restrained glances, whom no human has touched before, no jinn, as though they were rubies and corals. So which of your Lord's bounties will you both deny? Is the requital of goodness anything but goodness? Then it says, وَمَنْ دُونِهِمَا جَنَّتَانِ. Beside these two, or below these two, there will be two other gardens. This is of course the paradise of Ashabul Yamin, of ordinary mu'minun. Dark green, the greenery is so, the foliage of the trees are so strong, so abundant that it seems to be dark. Dark green, in both of them will be two gushing springs. In both of them will be fruits. Date palms and pomegranates. In them are maidens good and lovely, houris secluded in pavilions, whom no human has touched before, no jinn, reclining on green cushions and lovely carpets. Blessed is the name of your Lord, the majestic and the munificent. So, not much difference between the two types of gardens. However, this is the physical life. The spiritual life in paradise of these two groups are very, very much different. The way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala manifests himself to them, the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala communicates with them, the way he reveals himself to them are very much different from each other. And this is what actually makes the gradations of paradise, the different grades in paradise. As we know, the Quran mentions, look how different are the grades of people in this world. In Akhirah, the grades are much more varied than what you see in this world. Not, of course, all of us are going to have the same life in paradise. In a way, we can say that no two people would have the same life, the same type of life in paradise, in terms of the spiritual relation that they have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, the doors, of course, are open. Whatever door you want to open, it will be opened for you. However, you don't see some doors if your wish has not expanded enough in this world. If your knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not expanded, you have not acquired much knowledge about God in this world, you have not acquired much closeness to Allah in this world, then in paradise, of course, you wouldn't have the wish which someone like prophets, for example, would have. You wouldn't have the aspiration of someone like the saints in paradise with regards to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And therefore, this is how our lives would become different in paradise. We'll live in different places, in different atmospheres of our own souls. Our souls are very much different. However, when we come to each other, when we sit and talk to each other, we see that our lives are exactly equal to each other. We do not see any difference. Because if you see someone having someone better from you, and you wish that you had that position, and you wish that you had that type of life, it should have been granted to you according to what is mentioned in the Quran. Whatever you wish, there will be for you. Now, Our material taste, our physical taste as well might be different. And that's why we get differences in this world, and we get differences in paradise as well. However, the difference between these tastes are not so great that we would have totally different types of physical life in paradise. What is really different, what makes really difference is the type of spiritual aspirations that we have. And therefore, although we see the prophets have a type of life in paradise totally probably different from us, but we never wish to have it because we cannot understand it. There is a very nice example given by Jesus Christ in one of the reports from him, that once he was asked by some of his disciples that you say that in paradise everyone has whatever they wish, and in paradise there's no jealousy. No one would envy anything that others have. No one would feel jealous about others. And again, we know that people live in different situations in paradise. Prophets are not living like ordinary people. Muqarrabun are not living like Ashabul Yamin. So how come they do not envy, they do not wish what others have above them? Now, Jesus Christ gave a very beautiful example. He said, when dresses are tailored for different people in a family, for father, for mother, for children. Of course, the dress of the father is different from the dress of the mother. And the dress of children, especially, are much smaller than the dress of their parents. However, do you think the children would ever wish that they had the dresses of their parents to wear? Exactly what they have is what they really like. They would like to wear their own dresses rather than the dresses of their parents. Despite the fact that they are bigger, they might be more beautiful, everyone is content with the dress which is tailored for them. This is a very nice example because the paradise is tailored for every person in a way that it fits them. And when it fits them, they never would wish to have anything higher. They never would wish to have anything different from what they have. So, what the meaning of mufattahatan lahumul abwab may be is that in paradise, every door that you may knock is open for you. There is no locks there. There is nothing which is hidden from you. Of course, when I say from you, from your personality, from the way you imagine, the way you wish. There are imaginations above your imagination. There are wishes above your wishes, but you don't have them. Wishes and imaginations that you have, any door you knock, are open for you. مُفَتَّحَةً لَهُمُ الْأَبْوَابِ. No restriction from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The restriction you set on yourself. And this is what our philosophers say about this world as well. That why, for example, more bounties don't come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why this limited thing, these limited ni'mas are given to people in this world. They say it's given according to their capacities. However, it's difficult to imagine it in this world. In the next world, it's easy to imagine and understand that limitations come due to restrictions of imagination of people, not from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The gardens of Eden, whose gates are flung open for them. Well, here, of course, the translation says the gates of that paradise. But, of course, مُفَتَّحَةً لَهُمُ الْأَبْوَابِ doesn't have exactly this meaning. It means the doors are open for them. Now, it might be the gates of paradise or the doors in the paradise. Any door that we knock might be open. And one other interesting thing mentioned about paradise and its doors, there are, of course, doors inside paradise, as there are gates for the paradise. It's mentioned that وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ يَدْخُلُونَ عَلَيْهِمْ مِنْ كُلِّ بَابٍ. From every door that they open in paradise, the angels would enter from that door. Now, the angels, of course, in this world has a function. The angels in paradise has another function. The function of the angels in paradise that meet us, and we can meet them because we now have entered the realm of angels as well. The angels and human beings can live in the same place and can see each other, can talk to each other. This restriction of communication which we have in this world is now removed and taken away. The angels there bring the tranquility and composure from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, they bring more knowledge to the heart of the believers. So, any door, any new door you open in that paradise, in it there is composure, in it there is knowledge, more knowledge, in it there is more manifestations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to you. And the more you live there, the more magnificent your life will become, the more magnificent your heart will become. You are always waiting for the next day to come to see what pleasures Allah has hidden for you for the next day. It's a life which is always expected. I mean, the next day is always expected by today. And tomorrow we expect the next day to come to see what pleasures Allah has in store for us and new angels coming to us, talking to us, bringing us new composure from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's sakina which Allah mentions in the Quran coming to the heart of some of the believer in this world. You would see that in paradise every day would come to you at a higher level. And therefore, these doors are open. You open them from every door. وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ يَدْخُلُونَ عَلَيْهِمْ مِنْ كُلِّ بَابٍ. From every door, the angels would come to them, would speak to them, and every day you see more beautiful angels than you had seen in the previous day. Okay, this is one type of description of paradise. جَنَّاتِ عَدْنٍ مُفَتَّحَةً لَهُمُ الْأَبْوَابِ مُتَّكِئِينَ فِيهَا, reclining therein on couches. Of course, this is a description usually used for kings, for people of high stature, that they just reclined and waited others to serve them. The same expression is waited for others to serve them. The same expression is mentioned about people in paradise. You don't need to do anything there. You just recline like kings, rest, summon whatever you want and whoever you want, and they will come to you. متكئين فيها يدعون فيها بفاكهة كثيرة وشراب. Therein they ask for abundant fruits and drinks. Now, the يدعون, as Tabrasi has mentioned in Majmu' al-Bayan, has a meaning of tahakkum. They order, they rule there, that I want this. In a way, of course, not with arrogance that the kings have. This is just one ni'mah Allah has given them. Whatever they want, just like children who are obeyed by their parents, they just rule that I want this, and everything are ready for them. It's not just requesting, it's more than request. Yad'una is more than requesting here. It's just ruling that I want this and everything will come for them. You're reclining therein on couches. Therein they ask, and more than ask actually, therein they command. They command بِفَاكِهَةٍ كَثِيرَةٍ فَشَرَابٍ, for abundant fruits and drinks. Of course, again, abundant drinks. Now, why abundant? Why فَاكِهَةٍ كَثِيرَةٍ? Many of them. Well, in this world, unfortunately, our appetite is very limited. We eat a little bit. Of course, we have lots of desire to eat very delicious things, but our appetite does not allow us, does it? We just eat a little bit, and then we are full, and we cannot continue eating. There, of course, this limitation is taken away. You eat, but your belly does not get full, and you does not actually think that you are you do not think that you are restricted in what you desire to eat or to drink. Now, of course, this eating and drinking has a spiritual aspect as well. It's not just like this world that is only physical contentment. There is a spiritual contentment in this as well, because there is a spiritual taste to all these as well. And especially in the sharab, the drinks which are in paradise. Sharab, of course, in many translations is translated as wine. It might be a right translation, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself mentions that it is a type of wine, but doesn't have the effects or the influence which the wine in this world would have on the mind. It has the benefits, it doesn't have the harms. The benefit is a type of elation of the soul. Your soul would somehow become more imaginative. And that imagination is something which is good in paradise. However, there is not the headache, there is not that type of foolishness which comes after a drink in this world. There is a spiritual aspect to these drinks as well. First of all, some of these drinks, of course, the drinks we drink there are according to our levels. But some of these drinks are purifying drinks. وَسَقَاهُمْ رَبُّهُمْ شَرَابًا طَهُورًا. Their Lord makes them drink, gives them drink, which is pure and purifying. Now, pure and purifying, of course, pure we understand, but do we need purification in paradise as well? Because the meaning of sharaban tahura is a drink which purifies. We know that no human being can enter paradise unless they are already purified. So what's the meaning of this purification which this wine would give to human beings? And due to that purification, then more blessings from Allah can come to you. Higher manifestations of Allah can come to you because you are now more purified. And there are some drinks which have mixtures of ginger, some drinks which have mixture of camphor, and any type, each type would have a different influence, a different, it would give you a different experience. So I think what I will do, because to go through the analysis of all these types of different drinks, would take some time. I think next week we start with discussing these different drinks which are given to people of paradise, and then of course there are drinks for people of hell, and it's mentioned here in just in a couple of verses ahead, and we have to discuss about that as well. The different drinks given to people of paradise and different drinks given to people of hell, and the effects they have, especially for the people of paradise. Inshallah, we leave and discuss it for next week. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa alihi tahirin.
Thank you very much indeed, Sheikh.